A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 5th day of March 2024. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni will be joining me on sign language. Now, as part of this newscast, President Museveni has received credentials from 5 ambassadors newly accredited to Uganda. The ambassadors presented their credentials today at a function held at State House in Entebbe. The ambassadors include Her Excellency Fatima Yesenia Fernandez, Ambassador Venezuela to Uganda, His Excellency Mauro Massoni, Ambassador of Italy to Uganda, His Excellency Major General Paul Kisesa Simuli, Ambassador of Tanzania to Uganda, His Excellency Brigadier General Jules Ndihokubwayo, Ambassador of Burundi to Uganda, and Her Excellency Nicole Adamkova, Ambassador of Czech Republic to Uganda. During the function, President Museveni welcomed the ambassadors to Uganda and promised to work with them to strengthen cooperation between their respective countries and Uganda. The heads of African judiciary have been tasked to emulate the traditional core values of extending justice to people through seeking for the truth rather than generating legal battles. The call was made by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni at the opening of the 2-day African Justices Summit on Alternative Dispute Resolution in a speech delivered by his vice, Jessica Alupo.
African Chief Justices from various countries of, among others, Uganda, Botswana, Eswatini, Tanzania, Malawi and South Sudan are undergoing a 2-day summit on alternative dispute resolution at Mistil Hotel in Kampala. The summit, under the theme Re-engineering Alternative Dispute Resolution on the African Continent, aims at equipping the Chief Justices with various skills and knowledge regarding conflict management through alternative dispute resolution mechanisms.
During the summit, a number of topics will be discussed. These include building and promoting peace in Africa through alternative dispute resolution, enabling access to justice for sustainable development in Africa.
The Vice President Jessica Alupo officiated the 2-day summit on behalf of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
It is my honor to officially open the Africa Chief Justice Summit on ADR.
In his speech, President Museveni applauded the Chief Justices for coming together to generate various ideas regarding ADR to extend justice to the masses. Museveni says the concept of solving disputes through mediation, arbitration among other mechanisms, existed way back in the African traditional society. Hence, the modern justice system should emulate it.
The modern system of justice has many lessons to learn and replicate from the African concept of justice. Traditional conflict resolution techniques such as the mediation, adjudication, reconciliation, and negotiation, which Africans employed in the past, offered great prospects for peaceful coexistence and harmonious relationships in the post-conflict periods. Africans viewed disputes as an opportunity for strengthening instead of breaking societies and relationships.
The former justice system is at times was not successful due to various reasons of, among others, limited manpower, mounting legal fees, thus the need to embrace ADR. Although alternative dispute resolution is implemented in commercial disputes, land disputes and others, a challenge of case backlog is still high.
In Uganda, a justice needs and satisfaction report of 2020 revealed that there were 12.8 million legal problems in a year. At the time, Uganda's population was about 40 million. And while many were resolved, majority remained unresolved, or this resolution was seen as unfair. 1.9 million were under hearing, and 2.13 million were considered to be unfairly resolved. This is quite a significant justice gap that deserves specific attention. It is the one that has kept the African societies together, has kept the fabric of our society together, which is the original dispute resolution mechanism. And it is the one we seek through ADR, through this conference, to recapture, to reclaim, so that we can have a justice system which is meaningful and formalize it so that it is not just informal as it is being practiced.
The Africa Chief Justices Summit on Alternative Dispute Resolution was engineered by Pepperdine University, the Swedish Embassy, in partnership with the Judiciary of Uganda.
We have a long-standing relationship with Uganda over 15 years in the pursuit of various forms of ADR. Most of those years, it was the initiative of plea bargaining.
The two-day African Justices Summit is hailing at Mistil Hotel in Kampala, and in attendance were retired Chief Justices of Uganda, Justices of the Supreme Court, High Court judges, among other delegates. Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Inabu, good day, UBC News.
Parliament has adopted a report on operations and the performance of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. This afternoon, a heated debate drew all legislators to support the findings of the Committee on ICT to enhance the budget support for the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. The MPs highly commended the national broadcaster for its operations, urging the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to adhere to both the presidential directive to extend an annual 30 billion shilling support to UBC.
I watch UBC at 8. I'm always watching UBC, and I've been watching Honorable Mara also doing a fantastic job on UBC. I've seen Honorable Semujo on UBC.
Yes, you are giving them adverts, but you as members of parliament, when you are invited for programs, do you go there? Give it attention, because you need it. Historically, it is known that you could overthrow government militarily by taking parliament, UBC and the state.
The afternoon parliament session showcased a high level of strategic and innovative solutions to enhancing the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
Reason being, there are some programs we know you carry that are not necessarily profitable but desirable to the nation. Therefore, I would like to stand and support the matter. Because I know what it takes. UBC is a training ground for young journalists, and you know it. It will take in as many interns as you do not know. It will train them, it will produce them to national level for even other carriers to take on. Well, however, I would like UBC to adopt a plan that is used like other national broadcasters.
The MPs emphasized the role of the national broadcaster in fostering development, urging different MDAs to consider extending support to boost the financial muscle of UBC.
Because right now, one doesn't need to put up a huge building to broadcast. You can even broadcast under a small room, and then you move. So some of those things are things which we need to look at, and then we see how we can turn these assets into very, very productive assets instead of being very redundant. Because even on Minister,
the Parliamentary Committee on Information, Communications and Technology presented a report highlighting the urgency of government to prioritize funding for UBC. The report, presented by Tony Ayo, the Kwanya County MP, exhibits how the funding gaps affect the long-term output of UBC.
UBC should budget for procurement of equipment to support redundancy and network monitoring system for all its sites and stations, which shall improve the quality of the network, minimize the possibility of blackouts.
That 20 years later, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is still having the same problems. A reflection of how unserious we are as a people that really we must be allowing others to speak for us. I would not hesitate, Mr. Speaker, to say that because Uganda Broadcasting Corporation is a national carrier, a national broadcaster, it would be wrong to compare Uganda Broadcasting Corporation with other similar entities that are private.
In order to initiate the third phase of the digital migration, the House wants government to fully settle the debt of $1 million, which is about 3.7 billion Uganda shillings, owed in order to boost coverage of the national broadcaster. It should be remembered that 17 UBC upcountry stations were switched off due to the failure to pay the satellite fees.
Government should speed up the connectivity of the DTT sites and upcountry stations through the fiber optic under the national backbone infrastructure, whose connection will be safer.
When they talked about getting decoders that are cheap, that would be an opportunity for us to also create a competition with the DSTV that when you ask what their corporate social responsibility is, you don't see anything. So let's support UBC such that we can get those cheap decoders and our people can view many channels that are associated with that.
The Minister of State for Finance, Henry Musasizi, informed the House on the interventions reached at to solve the funding gaps, including the 24.8 billion supplementary budget which was allocated to UBC.
That in this financial year we provided a supplementary to UBC under 3%, and all the money has been given to them. Yes. How did this arise?
How much was it?
It was around 24 point something billion.
The minister, your colleague, the minister, is saying yes. Money.
The report on UBC also calls for opening of boundaries for all UBC land in order to address the allegations of encroachment.
And my interest is the chair indicated that UBC's land on Coral Summit View is encroached on by not only the other private players, but the UPDF. And also indicate that for UBC has to seek for permission from UPDF to access their premises.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, tasked the executive to address the recommendations of the adopted report and report back to Parliament within 3 months. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
A section of people who were evicted from Bukinda in Changwali sub-county Chikube district are appealing to the government to either resettle them or be compensated. The people, who included the majority of children and women, on Saturday stormed Kakumiro demanding to meet the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja to help them get justice, and have been staying at Kakumiro NRM house.
By one Babali Fred, the people who have spent over 2 years at Chikube RDC's office claim that they were violently evicted from their ancestral land in Buchinda, Changwali, and were never compensated. Mbabali says that the office of the Prime Minister evicted them from their land in 2013. Up to date, they are homeless and have not been helped. However, the resident district commissioner Kakumiro, retired Major David Matovo, met the evictees and advised them to seek redress in relevant offices. Matov says that he convened an emergency security meeting to discuss the issues, and it was resolved that these people immediately vacate the area and return to where they came from.
I had the chairman on board, Mr. Sentai Senkusu. I had the deputy cow, he's a member. I had the core members, DPC. I had the DISO, himself, Lieutenant Milaj Marshal, is our secretary. I had crime intelligence. I had also coopted these two people representing our visitors. And we had a candid discussion. One, we said this matter is outside our mandate as Kakumiro.
By press time, all the people had vacated the NRM premises in Kakumiro, with others returning to Chikube, while others were seen walking to other destinations. The Prime Minister in December of 2021 visited the contested land in Buchenda to find a lasting solution to the issue.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, has called upon families to adopt proper parenting practices so that children find solace in a family unit. She was represented by the State Minister for Higher Education, Chrysostom Muyingo, during the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Afro-Arab Youth Council in Kampala.
The celebrations to mark 20th anniversary of the Afro-Arab Youth Council at Kampala International University was attended by several officials, international figures hailing from around the world, all aimed at promoting culture of peace and responsible leadership among the youth. The First Lady and the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, commended Afro-Arab Youth Council in empowering youth in Africa. She was represented by the State Minister for Education, John Chrysostom Muyingo.
Seeing all of you young people gathered here thrills my heart as a mother, giving me hope, joy, and assurance that the future of Africa and the Arab world is very promising with such visionary young people in the front seat. I urge you to continue nurturing a spirit of solidarity amongst yourselves, because we are in an era of global networking. This will secure the next generation in our continent and the world over.
The function was on the theme focusing on the plight of persons with mental health challenges. The First Lady also encouraged the public to create an environment for open conversations about mental health where individuals can seek support without fear of judgment.
Communicate effectively with a wide range of people, identify problems or risk situations, and make decisions based on family-held values. Cope with peer influences and assert their ideas. Use decision-making and assertiveness in drug use situations. Maintain friendships. Give care and get help whenever it's needed.
The Director General of the Islamic World Educational Science and Culture Organization, His Excellency Dr. Salim Malik, underlined that culture plays in enhancing social cohesion and economic transformation.
That has been ignored. Now it's coming that ISISCO is taking this as a stand and giving it a priority to be one of its main important areas of concentration. And
Dr. Abbas Agaba, the Secretary General of the Afro-Arab Youth Council, said the partnership pays for the fruitful cooperation at the service of the youth in Africa.
Have a University of Science and Technology to prioritize science and skilling for young people to be able to fit in the world of work. When this is completed in this region, I think we shall pat ourselves in the chest and say, thank you Allah for the great blessing you've given us.
Robert Katamba, Mike Makawulindi, UBC News.
A team of UN experts have summoned Ugandan government officials to explain the country's involvement in prolonged conflicts and wars in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Key questions were on army deployment and allegations of squandering minerals and issues of refugees. The meeting held at Foreign Affairs Ministry in Kampala, head of the delegation says the report will guide UN Security Council on the next move over the DRC conflicts.
We we have a few questions indeed, and we are in a spirit of exchange and collaboration, so we are also happy to answer questions or requests of information that you may have, and this is how we see our work. It's collaborative, but we are here also then to report to the Security Council, which has given us the mandate to work on the DRC. And as you know, we are 6 experts who work on a different array of issues on natural resources, as my colleague Roberto, on humanitarian and human rights violations, on armed groups, and on arms trafficking. And so our questions will be on those topics. We believe that we can have a productive meeting.
Like you look at the Holy Trinity, it's first those immediately affected, which is the tip of DRC, and then the second part of that Trinity is the neighbors, because we are directly affected. Then you are our international friends, who also, by multiplier effect, you are also affected one way or the other, because we believe we are one world, we are one people. Whatever affects one affects the other. So we appreciate all these interactions we have with you on this aspect, because we also help you really to see that we achieve peace in our part of the region.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar! My boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Welcome back from that break. We're glad that you're still with us here on UBC News Tonight. Now in more news this evening, Kagadi Grade 1 Magistrates has remanded a 38-year-old driver attached to Kagadi District Local Government over reckless driving, which caused the death of a 28-year-old Muhoro protester. Court presided over by His Worship Edward Kayuki today heard that Stephen Tibihikira 38 attached to Kagadi District Local Government and a driver to LC5 chairperson Ndiwami Yosia on February 26th allegedly knocked dead a boda cyclist identified as Tuhaise Magezi, a cyclist in Muhoro Town Council who had joined his colleagues to demonstrate over the dilapidated 31-kilometer Muhoro Ndaiga Lake Albert Road.
Which were dangerous to the public, having regard to all the circumstances of the case.
The judicial officer has advised that we shall apply for bail next time. So there is no decision which has been taken, and what the judicial officer has directed was in the interest of time.
Aro Edmund from the College of Engineering Design and Technology is aspiring for the position of the 90th Guild President, Makerere University, with the aim of handling key challenges Makerere students are facing currently at the university. Aro says that he is starting with the 6 points in his manifesto, advocating for an increase of the government allowances, leverage on 100% tuition to an affordable percentage to enable students sit exams. He wants support from fellow students this Thursday on 7th March.
Basing on the current cost of living, this 4,500 cannot even enable one afford 2 ideal meals, just even one, because the current cost of living is in Chikumi, where most students eat food, or Chikoni, 1 meal is 4,500 actually. So that leaves the student getting only 4,500, and that is 1 meal, which is really not favorable to these students. So my cry out there is for the government officials to increase these government allowances, because these students are facing very many challenges. Very big percentage of these students entirely depend on the government allowances, and this leaves them with no option but rather not concentrating on their books, going out there doing very unreasonable things to raise these funds for their survival at the university. So the next point on my agenda is review of the 100% tuition policy. This 100% tuition policy says that for every student in Makerere University to sit for their exams, to sit for the final exams, must have completed all the tuition. Sincerely speaking, this is really not fair to the very biggest percentage of these students, because these students, not everyone in the university can afford the 100%. You know, this is really not favorable to the students out there. It really presses the students to the wall.
I think where he should start from for the private students, because I feel that is very important. Parents want their students in the university, but sometimes things are hard and they can't actually be able to raise all the amount as required. But since I cannot graduate without having fully completed my tuition, I think the university should be able to understand that. So I would want him to start from there, because we've seen people being given suspensions because of faked permits. They do not do it willingly, but because of their forces outside. So I think you should start from there.
I'm Team Mariho, first of all. Zenjagala Fat, as you can see. Why? Because I gained interest in his manifesto, and as a government student, I think he's really going to help us push for something that each and every year they've been talking about. Guild presidents have been coming up telling us they're pushing for increase in government allowances, but nothing has been done. We've actually suffered more for the 3 years I've been at campus. We've suffered more. But according to Eddie, he's already in touch with the with the Ministry of Education and the committee in charge in Parliament. And I think that's a good start. If he's already working before he's in power, what's going to happen when he comes into power?
UBC News Tonight. Now, Kijunjwa Primary School, a UPE school, has received a donation of over 20 million Uganda shillings from My Solar Company to renovate 2 classroom blocks and install solar lighting system to improve the learning environment. Now, the primary school has over 700 learners. The school still needs safe drinking water, which learners fetch about 2 kilometers away. The school shares a well with animals.
The building and the solar system.
We renovated a 2-classroom block and they installed a solar panel. Now the school is equipped with light. Even the candidates, they are able to read and study at night. However, we have a challenge of water, because the water is being fetched 2 kilometers away from the school.
2007, 2008 up to now, until when you have come to renovate it. Really, we thank you very much for renovating this good building. It's nice, it can be used. Our children are very safe when they are there.
Very good third place that we are celebrating today. You can applaud actually to improve teaching conditions of the pupils. By renovating and modernizing your school today, by allowing your community through an ultimately very modest gesture in view of your needs, to improve its living conditions, Energy Access shares the value it creates with each of you. Acquiring our solar kits, repaying them, these are efforts for you.
Over 2,700 learners from secondary schools of Aro High School Zone and Chinoni Zone have completed a 1-week patriotism ideology orientation training course. The training raised a call on government to incorporate patriotism in the national curriculum. This call was sounded by the Member of Parliament Nyabushozi County, Chiruhuda District during the commissioning of the Patriots at Karo High School.
Strikes at school. Never. Patriots do not strike, do not abuse their teachers, do not cut lessons, do not destroy property, do not hate each other. Those are not patriots. Patriots arrive at school in time. Patriots are clean inside and outside.
To have strong love for themselves, for their communities and for their country. Number 2, I expect them to go and fight poverty because we have trained them in how fighting poverty. Number 3, I expect them to go and mobilize community for development activities. But also I expect them to go and preserve and conserve environment because we have also taken them through that. I expect them to know, to have gotten much about the history of this country, where it came from, where it is, and where we are going.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes another short break, but return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *5*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda. Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja Ankole segment. Learn about the fabrication of Ankole Kingdom from Nkore, the beautiful village of milk and honey at the detriment of Mpororo states.
Ankole as a kingdom came about in 1901.
Ankole is a colonial fabrication.
And all these small kingdoms were counties of the original Itara.
Ruhinda Ruanjunachi, who was Mtrezi,
the son of Wamara Ranjanjuru.
And that starts the rulers of Ankole called Bahinda.
Who are the pre-colonial heroes from Ankole?
Is it Rutaraka, Muguta? Is it Intare, Kitabanyoro? Find out from Tuko Pamoja.
Daily screenings at Ham Cinemax in Wandegea at 11:30, 2 p.m., 4:30 and 7 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Welcome back. Now into the world of business. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Francis Mabesa, has called for the need to invest in technologies which foster value addition to enable Uganda export more to the European countries. He was representing the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, at the opening of the 3rd EU-UG Business Forum on the theme Boosting Trade and Investments. What can Uganda gain from the global getaway?
As our development partners, to invest more in the contamination technologies that support those value chains feeding into EU-Uganda trade so that Uganda can sustainably participate and meet the standards required in the EU market. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 4 focus sectors of this 3rd Uganda EE Business Forum are agro-businesses, 2 minerals, 3 enabling infrastructure, energy and digital, and 4 sustainable tourism. Uganda welcomes the choice of these sectors which are in alignment with Uganda's development aspirations as pronounced in our National Development Plan 3 and our vision.
The AU has been a major partner in offering development and technical assistance for several projects, especially under infrastructure, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and human capital development. For instance, rehabilitation of the Tororo-Gulu railway line, Kampala-Jinja Expressway, developing a market-oriented and environmentally sustainable beef industry, development initiative for northern Uganda, and other projects targeted to the coffee and cocoa value chains, among others.
Boosting trade and investment is indeed the theme of the forum, and our commitment remains twofold. To attract new companies and investors from the European Union and the region while continuing to support those already invested in Uganda. The lucrative European Union market offers quota and tariff-free access for all goods from Uganda except arms. Distinguished participants, I wish for this event to be a new milestone in the economic relations between Uganda and Europe. We, Team Europe, the European Union and its member states have set the stage The rest is about connecting people.
Partners to do business with. I think what we as government should always be about is creating that enabling environment, because the businesses know how to talk to each other. So our goal here is to ensure that the businesses that are coming from Europe, the Ugandan businesses, sit on a table together and start talking about export, exchange of innovation, doing business together, and most importantly, making money together.
On the directive of President Museveni and Cabinet, Uganda Investment Authority has managed to put together an investment land bank, which now totals 84 square miles across all the regions of the country. We believe that this is going to be serviced land that is going to be plug and play, where investors from across the world can come, put up factories and start manufacturing. These lands are going to be serviced with industrial water, with industrial electricity, with industrial waste treatment, and they are going to be highly sustainable with internet cables, with internet cabling. So what we are trying to do is to say, in the midst of expanded East African community, now the African continental free trade area that brings together 1.3 billion people and 3.4 billion United States dollars in GDP, Uganda, we need to be positioned.
So ladies and gentlemen, we'll move to our very first plenary session.
The Deputy Inspector General of Government, Dr. Patricia Acheng Okiria, has attributed the progressive success of the implementation of the DRDIP project in Lamour district to the local community. After a recovery of 1.2 billion, which was allegedly mismanaged by some OPM officials in 2021, locals in Lamour district took part in monitoring all DRDIP projects in Lamour district, which has been a success.
The Deputy Inspector of Government, Dr. Patricia Acheng, has returned to investigate the stolen money of the DRIP implementation in Lamour district.
We rely a lot on the community to give us heads up on what is happening on the ground. And we have the community monitoring groups who are working in close, constant touch with the district technocrats, and they report areas needing quick action. We have previously done what they call the community scorecard. In this region, again, this is a very significant tool, especially for social accountability. This is where we get feedback from the people. And as the Inspectorate of Government, when we talk about taking the war against corruption to the people, this is the feedback we expect in the war against corruption.
She visited several projects being implemented under the DRIP project in the district, which were all in good conditions, thanks to the community.
Previously, when I came to Lamour, we identified certain gaps. We got into engagement with the district technocrats. We pointed areas where there are red flags, and we said we need improvement. And today I'm happy to note that there has been great improvement. And most of the projects we have seen are at 95% and above.
According to the community, transparency and accountability during the implementation is part of his responsibility.
We haven't registered any bad cases because they have started just recently. As they have started, we went and visited them. After visiting them, we have got them, and the work is just very fair.
The RDC says the projects will improve service delivery.
Lamour district, and more especially Palabek sub-county, they relied mostly on this route for service delivery, access to market, access to hospital, access to banking services, everything. And this delay took almost 7 months. But I'm happy now there's a contractor on site and the progress of the work is around 70%.
A target to train over 1,000 youth annually over the next 3 years as solar installation and electrical technicians is now being accelerated. The skills development component is being undertaken by Sendea Academy, with the institution reiterating that a significant number will be female. Take a look.
Sendai Academy Chief Executive Officer Loi Chozaire emphasizes that the growing demand for solar energy, estimated at 31%, is based on energy statistics and requires competencies in installation and maintenance. The academy, whose flagship is in the area of gender-driven skilling, says the supply of female technicians should be stepped up to match this male-dominated discipline.
We call upon government to support this cause. We call upon development partners to support this cause, and so that we can support as many Ugandans as possible. But also, these are the same people that support the economy through addressing unemployment. Even if they employ a few people, we know that they will grow into bigger companies that will be able to employ as many people as possible.
These are some of the trainees who've been skilled by Sendai Academy as technicians in various disciplines, including electrical and solar installation, among others.
I managed to gain most of the skills in the boot camp. One of them is on the financial things. One of them is where they taught us on customer cares, how to save money, more about the skills on the savings.
We have to actually work in every sector, as we are confident in whatever we do.
These young women are trained as technicians through a collaborative engagement with different technical training institutions, such as Don Bosco and the Directorate of Industrial Training.
First, I appreciate Sendai. They gave me confidence. This special thanks goes mostly to Madame Aloy. She gave me courage, gave me confidence. She was by my side. She helped me to choose a course immediately after my senior form, because I had no idea yet on which course I should take. Yeah, she helped me. I had to start with the solar. Then after solar, she told me, you're still young, you can still do it. You can still take in another course, but it's still connected to solar. So I took electrical just immediately after solar.
This effort by Sendai Academy is seen to be aligned with the National Business Technical Vocational Educational Training Strategic Plan.
And now into the world of sports. The Buganda Kingdom's Gombolola Cup has entered week 6 with 38 goals scored from 17 games. Two Masaza of Kabula and Buenkula entered the fray to bring the tally to 12 counties who have played so far.
So far, 12 of the 18 counties have witnessed action in this tournament, where grassroots talent search is the niche. Kabula County premiered and witnessed 8 goals on match day 1 at Kaliro Playground in Sabawali, which was officiated by the Saza Chief Lumama Owekitibwa David Lulimba's Jinji.
Empaka zino eza Lumama Cup tuziguddewo olunaku olwaleero nga bweri enteekateeka y'Obwakabaka bwa Buganda nga tulina okuzannya ku mitendera gy'eggombolola okulaba nti tujjayo ebitone by'abavubuka okusobola okulaba abavubuka basobola okwenyigira mu mitendera egy'enjawulo mu bika, emipiira gy'ebika, emipiira egy'amasaza n'okuvuganya okw'enjawulo nga bali ku mitendera gyonna egiba giriwo naye nga ekitone tukisobola okuva wansi.
Fellow newcomers Abuwekula organized one game on their opening, where Sabagabo Kasambya lost 1-0 to Munyuka Bageza.
Nsuubira nti empaka zino zigenda kutuyamba nnyo okukola nga nasale bet mutugenda okulonda abasambi betujja okukozesa kusaza yaffe.
Action in week 7 shall witness 2 newcomers of Bosuju and Gomba, but will be highlighted by the Buganda Sports Minister's visit to Gomba on Sunday, where he will visit youth undertakings, officiate at the swearing-in of county youth leadership, on top of watching the opener in the Kitunzi Cup. Other counties with fixtures this weekend include Busiro, Buvuma, Buddu, Kyagobulemezi, Kyadondo, Singo, Buwekula, Mawokota, Mawogola, Kabula and Buwekula. The Mupira Gwa Magombola Buganda is a sports competition by Uganda Kingdom, played amongst the 175 sub-counties under their respective 18 counties and named after the official title of the county chief.
The Fortbet Real Stars Sports Monthly Awards have rewarded 4 athletes from rally, football, kabaddi and rugby as the best of the month of February. We have more details on this report.
Lazo Restaurant in Kololo, Kampala capital suburb, has hosted the Fortbet Real Star Monthly Awards for February. 4 athletes, including rail driver Jas Mangat, rugby player Emily Lekoru, kabaddi sports Douglas Marira, and Chitara FC forward Dennis Omedi were crowned.
Winning this has given me an opportunity, and you see, when you're up there, you need to put each and every effort to make sure that you defend where you are. So it is a very big motivating factor for me. I'm just so happy, and I thank God I'm there today.
The Real Sports Agency Chief Executive Officer prides in these awards that started slowly but are now craved by almost everyone.
Yeah, it makes us feel proud because remember, by the time we started the thing, having the winners to come and collect their accolade was a problem. In sports disciplines were not, they took it like it was just a joke, it wasn't a serious thing. Even the athletes themselves were not coming because remember at that time, even the envelopes were so small, the accolades were not all that good looking, but we've improved in the standards in the envelopes and even on the accolades. So right now, everybody wants to associate with the awards.
The Real Star Sports Monthly Awards that are enabled by, among others, Fortbet and Youth Color Solutions started in 2018 and have so far rewarded more than 200 athletes from all disciplines in Uganda.
And UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. Do enjoy the rest of our programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language interpretation. We do wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
I'm Kisame Andrew, cold chain technician attached to Kalio District Local Government in the health department. The vaccines come when they're in the truck, which is refrigerated from NMS. I receive them, so I load these vaccines. There are some cold boxes. I put in those containers, then I take to the facilities. Even in the facilities, there are fridges. We are so grateful to the government of Uganda because each and every health center 3 and 4 in the Kalio district has a refrigerator. Once they reach there, I offload them. I also put them in the fridges. These facilities have scheduled outreaches whereby they have to go to the community, to the villages, communities, and make sure that they vaccinate. So they also have small containers which are called vaccine carriers, which they put on their back, of course with some ice to maintain the temperature. So that when they mobilize, the community mobilizers, the VHTs, the LOC ones, do mobilize the communities in gazetted outreaches which are already gazetted. They come and also workers find the clients there and then they do vaccinate them.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
On your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real.
Still, I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Joko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are,
but you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
This week